going on? What is going on? What is happening? We are back, unfortunately, um, under the circumstances of the tragic event that took place yesterday. And I feel compelled to talk about it, guys. I was internally conflicted about talking about this because I just feel like it's going to be rehashed, it's going to be discussed. But then I just thought about it, like the legacy media is trying, they are actively trying to spin this entire incident. They are calling it I think I read a report where they said it was like fireworks that went off. There were what did they, something else they called it. They try to characterize it. They're just essentially trying to bastardize what took place and diminish what actually took place, which is an attempted assassination of our president. um Here to join with me is my great friend Sandy Burks. And Sandy, I had to bring you on as we were talking about in the back chat. I was like, I don't even know if I want to talk about this. And I thought about, like, man, who else can I share this moment with? Because and I couldn't think of anyone else but you. So what are your thoughts? I'm sure this has probably impacted you on some level, as it has with me. So what's your thoughts about the circumstances of what took place?
And I want to say right now, okay, so you caught me off guard and it's nighttime and I'm in my car. But, I said, I'm going to come on this show. I'm going to
Right.
say something. And especially as a candidate who is running on a ballot with President Trump as my president for the Republican Party, as the
Hmm.
nominee, I am going to come on this show, dark or not. And hopefully you all can see me a little
There you
bit
go.
here.
Oh yeah.
But,
Yeah,
but,
coming through clear,
what
girl.
yeah, I got to make this clear. So, what do I feel about that? Obviously, I think it's a monstrosity. I think that it should never have happened. I also believe that the details should have been different. Anytime I've ever gone through Secret Service, whether they've been here, I've been
Right.
there, everywhere, we had everything jam packed. I would search, my items were searched. Some items I were not
So it's
allowed to
very
have.
thorough.
It's thorough. And so
Right.
I'm just trying to figure
Exactly.
out when it comes to this particular instance, how an individual is able to get that close, and even if they're further away, what are the details? What are the specs? Talk to us, let us
Yeah.
know, because at this point in time, an attack has been brought upon
Hmm.
on our president, somebody who has been in the media time and time and again, and we've seen major people speaking about and calling for harm on them. Nancy Pelosi, who have we seen? We've seen major celebrity level individuals calling for harm. We've got to fight the Republicans. Let's kill them. Let's beat them up. I don't care. If I see a black Republican, I'm going to beat them up and I'm going to go to jail for it. But then we have these people trying to hold these fake January 6th insurrectionists
Oh
accountable,
God.
even after charges have been dismissed. You understand?
Right.
Trying to hold them accountable, but we don't have any accountability here. So how do I feel?
Nope.
I feel like this is pure injustice. This is a lot right now, enough to spark some very heated things in our culture, and we just want to kind of take that aback and speak to the people and say, listen, one way to deal with this is not through violence. I understand that things have escalated very fast, very quickly, you understand? But one way
Yeah.
to respond, if you are Republican or if you are just an individual who's watching, not to respond with violence, okay? That's an individual. That individual may be tied, connected to deep state, different things. Who knows? You understand? We don't have that information right now. It's not declassified. But one thing we do know is that responding with violence will only what? Incite martial law and other things. So right now, I'm just
Yeah.
asking that all of my followers, all the people who, are like, team, go Cassandra Burks, don't become violent.
Yeah, yeah, and I think that's really good to say that, especially at this particular moment, where hostility, sensibilities are pretty high. Hostilities are high right now. I mean, it's kind of sort of the atmosphere is like you're at the precipice of some sort of eruption or something. But I would say, well, I wanted to ask you, has there been any or and like a lot of coverage on the what do we know about the shooter? Do we know anything about him? I know his name is Thomas Crooks. I know that's what the name they released in the reports. Do we know anything? Have we assessed, analyzed where this guy's background is and what were his motives? Have you heard anything?
Yeah, I've heard a lot, and I've seen a social media page from the individual, and I've seen an interview from a guy who was actually saying that he saw this individual, setting up shop, basically getting ready to do what he was
Yep.
doing, and he
Yeah.
alerted officials, and still things were able to kind of play out the way that they did. So when it comes to security, there are definitely questions from the majority of the population in regards to how this was able to happen. Like I said, if you've ever gone through Secret Service, or like myself has gone through Secret Service, and it's very thorough. Things are very thorough. So when things like this are able to go down, everything's just in question here. We're wondering, how is this possible? How?
So do you,
So
do you think that there's two ways that I'm saying this? Do you suspect it might have been an attempt by the hegemony, by the socialist, Marxist, evil regime that we have in power to take out Trump, or is just a simple lack of what do you want to call it, professional prowess on behalf of the secret services? Do you think the secret services failed at their duties to protect Trump, or is this something more sinister?
I believe definitely there were some sort of failures here, because obviously things happen when the whole reason people are being paid and on detail is to prevent these things from happening, stop them from happening, so that they don't occur. I think things just looked highly disorganized at the time. But I also believe that even if it weren't some sort of orchestrated hit, that the people who would best benefit are the people who have been calling for this. So even
Mm.
if inadvertently these persons didn't have anything to do with it per se, just such as they say that Trump, he caused an insurrection and all these different things, it would be similar in the sense of we're having congresswomen, congressmen stating that they want to fight Trump, that they want to fight Republicans
Turning up the rhetoric.
and black Republicans, and
Yeah.
if it happens, they don't care. They'll just go to jail and they'll bond out. That's an issue,
Yeah.
because I see, Republicans and even Marjorie Taylor Greene, Neil, people say whatever they want to about her. Oh, her mouth, oh, she's hardcore. But one thing about it is she's not saying, I'm going to punch this person in the face. I want to fight them. I'm going
Yeah.
to do my jail time. I'm going to get out and call and use the justice system taxpayer dollar to basically wreak havoc. They're not saying that. They're saying, listen, I'm going to use the justice system. I'm going to impeach this person. I'm going to file articles. Everything the justice system was set up for. So we see the real people who are abusing power here these days. And it's just not right, dude.
Yeah.
It's not right.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to I don't want to spook anyone out, but I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe there are some actors out there who are thinking right now at this very moment, I wish he didn't miss the shot.
Yeah. No, I've heard people say it, but the thing of it is that one thing that you're thinking about when you're speaking out against somebody because they've been arrested, they're a felon, or they have these things, you have to realize that there are millions of individuals in our own society who are going through these things. There are individuals who are felons who have maybe have committed some sort of felony or made a mistake at a very young age. You know what I'm saying? And they want the ability to make things better, to do things differently, to get things right, to have that opportunity and that chance. You know what I'm saying? But they will never
Hmm.
have that opportunity and that chance again. And it bothers them, but they're trying to change their lives. And the difference between a person who's kicking in your door and committing crimes against you is just a thought and deterrence. So, we want to encourage these individuals to be better. We want to encourage somebody who may have made a mistake to turn around and get their lives together. Do we want them to be the president of the United States? Well, I'll tell you what, we have felons who are and have become doctors, who are and have worked in the food industry, serving you food, over a lot of different things in your life, making your medications, and so what we want to do is anytime we get the opportunity to lift someone up and uplift them, we want to take that opportunity and not knock them down because they are different than us. Or
Yeah.
even
Well,
if they differ from our ideas. So I can't condone that.
okay. I want to play some of the media coverage because I thought it was absolutely horrendous. These, you know, I think I think it's going to be a cold day in hell when America ever trusts the legacy media again. I don't know when they've lost their legitimacy. I mean, I want to say that there has been some time in history where they had some credible form of journalism. But the way they are just overtly um what do you want to call it, partisan or bias in their coverage, it is astounding. I want to play
And you
some of
know,
this.
it's not supposed to be like that. I'm gonna let you play your clip, but one thing,
No,
it's
go
not
ahead.
supposed to be like that. It's not supposed to be biased. There are actually acts, there are rule of laws, there's different things set up in place so that these individuals are not supposed to be biased like this. They're
Right.
supposed to be given the same amount of airtime towards Republicans and Democrats if they choose to get involved politically. And if the issue is that we are not making them stand on principle, just like the churches with a lot of these persons who are homeless, who are in need. We are not requiring that these individuals do what they're supposed to do, and that's to take care of the community, and that's to make sure that they're being fair even when it comes to media. So when we stop allowing excuses and different things like that on people who are getting and using tax codes and loopholes to live better than all of us while we're sitting up here being passive, we cannot do that. We have to hold people accountable.
Yeah, I totally agree. We have to. We have to. Because look at the lengths these people will go to try to gaslight you. It's
Love
insane.
you. Bye. You leaving?
Yeah, we gone.
We love y'all. Let us know when you make it, okay?
All right, we will.
Hey, Sandy, did they have some good barbecue at the party?
Oh, yeah, they did, but they left my door wide open.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna read a couple of these comments real quick, and then I'm gonna play this clip. Lee,
Okay.
what up, yo? What up, Lee? Marlene having internet problems. Hope you get that together, Miss Marlene. Okay, it looks like you did. Deborah in the house. Finally got a connection and can listen to the podcast. Evangelist. Good evening, everyone. Good evening to you. Marlene says the media coverage was a joke, and I cannot believe just how many people do not see through their BS. Yeah, because people are willfully dense.
You said her name was
Willfully dense.
Marlene?
Marlene, yep.
Yeah, Marlene, you telling the truth right there. You never lied.
You ain't never lie. All right, here we go. Sandy, I'm gonna play this. Let me know if you can hear it. Okay, you may not be able to see it. Can you see that screen? A little small little screen.
It's black right now. You leaving? I love you. Mwah.
I'm right there.
Damn, I'm starting to feel bad, Sandy. I should have let you at least. Are you the hostess of the party?
I am, but you know one thing.
Oh! Oh no!
One thing about Sandy is you got to know Sandy. She gonna walk off and make sure everybody good and everybody has a good time, and so we're all good set right there. So go ahead.
That's good. That's good. Okay, good. I feel a little better now. All right, so here's some of the media coverage, guys. Listen to the way they just they're trying to gaslight you and trying to portray this to be what it was and what it is. They're trying to they're trying to play the portray it in a way that it didn't actually happen the way we all saw it happen. All right, here we go.
Not concerned about your future, I promise you. Trump is now promising a full-scale campaign of revenge and retribution for some years to come.
I am so concerned. I know we have all these conversations about how Democrats can't scare people to the polls. I am scared.
Let me help you out. I don't think that the threat that Trump poses is really being taken seriously enough by some people. Liz Cheney, who I've worked for and known for 20 years, recently said that she warned that we may be sleepwalking into a dictatorship.
One of the things that we see happening today is sort of a sleepwalking into a dictatorship in the United States.
We don't take an oath to a country, to a tribe, to a religion, to a king, or to a tyrant, or a dictator. We don't take an oath to a wannabe dictator.
What is central here is, do we want a dictator? No matter how popular he may be, no matter how good or bad the results of his policies may be, no president is supposed to be a dictator in the United States.
I know Trump would like to become dictator for life, and he's probably watching Vladimir Putin with envy.
Donald Trump believes that he should be the ruler, the dictator of the United States of America.
Pause
What's
this,
up?
Neil. Pause this. You know that's some BS, right? I just had you have that pause because
Please
expound.
Expound,
Now you
please.
know this is some BS. Okay, so dictator. I just want to say no. Never in time has Trump. We talk about a project 25, 45, 35, whatever, 45, whatever. No, Trump has Agenda 47. President Trump. Okay, go ahead. I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's and I don't want to stress that too, because it's funny that they use the word dictator when it only when it comes to Trump. But correct me if I'm wrong, I can only think of one actual dictator that actually foisted the entire American public by way of the OSHA mandate to use executive authority to push down something that most Americans didn't want, that they felt like their choice was being robbed from them. I can only think of one dictator who actually wielded the power of the government to force Americans to do something they didn't want to do.
Listen, let me tell you, them talking about this dictator stuff is obviously BS. Let me tell you why. Because we have what's called checks and balances here in America, and our Constitution is not set up to allow any one person to feel like they have full free reign. Okay, nowhere in history. Because if you bounce it to the Fed, then guess what? You got the state to deal with. So that's not even going to happen. We're just using words here and trying to play on emotion. But no, that's not the case. It will not be the case. Now, the thing of it is we have what's called a presidential election, and we have what's called a popular vote. And then we also have what's called an electoral vote. That electoral vote is what determines whether or not an individual is elected as president. Now, during the term when Hillary Clinton ran against Trump, Hillary actually won the popular vote by 3 million and something. She was winning over Trump, but he won the electoral. So when persons get in there and start telling you, oh, this is the end of our country and pause. Our country is not set up to even let that happen. So don't waste your breath. And don't even waste your time believing that. But the Democrats have loved to incite fear and spark fear into people who don't have the time or who are otherwise uneducated on how things are working. So I just don't want you guys to get fearful because it's BS. They're playing a game. Dictatorship where, who, and what country? Baby, this is not North Korea. This is America, Americano. This is not how we do things. We don't operate like that. Sorry.
Talk to him, Sandy. Talk to see. Damn, just when you on fire, my dang on mic go out. Hold up.
I'm telling you.
I just wanted to also make note of, because a lot of the average, I'll just say the average layperson is not aware that we are actually not in a democracy as much as they want to champion this notion, this false idea that we are in a democracy. This is a republic. And as you just said, if we were under a democracy, which therein the majority rules, Hillary Clinton would have won the popular vote. So as you said, our founders knew majority rule democracy would not work because it would always overshadow the few. So we have an electoral system. Thank God for our founders for setting that up. Thank God. Okay, so I'm gonna play some little bit more of this. I want to get to the part where they're actually covering the shooting, but let me see.
He actually is looking to change the Constitution.
There's no question he has authoritarian rulings and interests and notions which he will try and impose. That's dangerous for the country. And a number of the things he did in the last months of his presidency suggest what he'd do if he were elected again.
Trump represents an existential threat to democracy. He's an authoritarian figure. He's the first authoritarian figure ever nominated by a major party in the United States.
This rhetoric is so far outside the bounds of our normal politics that we have to address it as such. He doesn't see himself as a political candidate vying for the presidency. He sees himself as an insurgent who wants to overthrow the U.S. government. And that's what a lot of his people believe, too. He's completely outside the bounds of our political normalcy.
That hat that you keep wearing, that red hat that says "Make America Great Again," that tells people...
I'm sorry, I just can't stand that witch.
Okay,
so,
good, because I was gonna say pause in a minute. I mean, her so if she don't cough and get whatever's in her chest up out of it,
right. You wrong, Sandy. You wrong.
Yeah, it's a lot of things wrong. I like to be right, Neil. Look, listen. All I'm saying is that this is irritating to me because they're trying again with this rhetoric, and it's like when one baby says it, all the other babies just wow with the same old rhetoric.
It's like a hive mind or something.
I feel like we babysitting. One's telling on the other's telling on the other, but they're all saying the same thing.
Exactly.
The end of discussion is the fact that people are being harmed, okay? You have people coming out the woodworks, politicians saying, listen, my life is in jeopardy as a Republican, you know, and simply because the agenda that the media is pushing, because they're owned by these big old corporations that are Democrat and liberal, and they're pushing one-sided agendas when they're paying into our country, into our system, so they're supposed to be non-biased, but they're obviously biased. It's the reason why myself, you know, as a candidate, don't do a lot of interviews with a lot of radio stations, because even though they say, you know what, it's not supposed to be biased, based off of the taxations and the different things that they get from just being in business and operating and receiving taxpayer funding, they're not supposed to be biased, but they are. And I don't do
precisely.
Right. But it's the same reason why we cannot believe everything that they're pumping through our airwaves. It's almost demonic.
Exactly.
Like when you hear something blasphemous, cut it off. Oh my goodness. You know, because they are polluting us with these things. And, you know, and the thing is that we're living in 2024 at a time where you really have to think for self. You cannot rely on the internet. You cannot rely on social media. You cannot now at this point with reality kicking in and knowing what we know today, you can't even rely on history to teach you everything you need to know. You have to deep dive and you have to form your own conclusions, you know, and that's the era that we're in.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's important that you fortify your, I think it's, can you hear me?
Yeah, the Great Awakening.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's important that we fortified ourselves and our mind, body, and spirit, because, you know, just one of the tactics you can see that they use on a regular basis is they like to repeat the lie. They like to perpetuate it and promulgate it throughout the airwaves so that you say it so much over and over again, it becomes true. It becomes legitimized. So my thing is just to push back is not giving this sort of ideology any legitimacy, a patina of legitimacy. You have to combat this ideology. You cannot give it the patina, the impression of legitimacy, because it's all flawed. It's all fundamentally flawed. It's a chaotic revisionist.
Patina?
Yeah, patina. Why?
I'm so sorry. It's the word.
Oh yeah, it's just giving it this impression, this idea, this notion of legitimacy, because when we like I said, they keep saying January 6th, the Russia gate, all of these farce.
We can talk about Pizzagate,
Pizzagate
allegedly wasn't real. Which allegedly wasn't real. So we're gonna say that this other gate wasn't really. Matter of fact, if one gate's not real, all the gates aren't real.
There you go.
Oh,
but they know.
There you go.
They know that so long as they perpetuate this and constantly repeat it, people are going to become beholden to it. They're going to believe it. They're going to act it out in life. That's why, you know, at this point, like, there should be no reason why anyone listens to legacy media. No, I mean, take it seriously as objective truth, as a source of objective truth. The legacy media has lost its integrity a long time ago, and it ain't coming back. So let me play a little bit more of this, and then because I'm gonna fast forward because I want to get. Okay, here we go.
But you go along with this, so you might as well just put a swastika on the hat.
Do you still think it's fair to compare the Nazi attack on the Jews to what happened on January 6th?
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like a threat to democracy. I know with my father, who was part of the Nazi party, they were lied to. They were misled. And I think...
All right, let me fast forward this because this is not getting to it.
You
Here we
will.
go.
Yo, she sound like she woke up one day and smoked a whole carton of Newport. So
Oh
she
yeah,
wanted to
Newport.
talk.
Yeah, 100s. 100s. Yep.
And then
Newport
wanted to
100.
talk to every single individual. Okay.
Right. All right, I'm gonna fast forward to the part where they're actually covering the shooting because that was essentially I would just put. Well, this is not my montage. This is actually from Chad O. Jackson. I suggest everyone go to his channel and listen to him. He's great, along with his co-host.
And I just want to interrupt you, Neil, real quick.
Yeah.
On
What's
some.
up?
Don't forget to vote Republican this November. Listen.
There you go.
Our whole country is on the line right now. So if you
Down the ticket.
If you're unsure, become sure. Find a reason to become sure. Do your research. Understand what's really laid on the line right here. We don't want a Marxist country. We don't want to force this lifestyle on our children. We don't want socialism. We don't want that in our country. That's not going to help us live, sustain, and be that country where people are flooding to for the American dream.
Right.
Think about it. November
Good
5th.
point. A Republican down the ticket, guys. Republican down the ticket. I don't care if you never voted. I don't care if you. Well, shit. Some of them are rhinos. I get it, but just Republican down the ticket. All right, we gotta take.
But hold on. What if the rhino, who was really Democrat, decided that they wanted to actually vote Republican because Republican was right? So even though they were rhino once, they decided that from the bottom of their heart, it was actually time for them to really be Republican, and not just Republican, but conservative, and have life, in mind, and longevity, perhaps.
Life, liberty, and happiness, right?
Maybe even need some fruit. Think about some good times,
Life, liberty, and happiness, right, Sandy?
God first,
There you go. God first. God
Perhaps.
first being the head.
All my Latina friends would like to say "Kazas,"
Oh, ¿cómo se va?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's like that's Ghanaian. That's not even Spanish.
Oh, you about to have me singing? Oh, okay.
Actually, I think it's like French Creole.
Okay.
Sandy, you're lucky my soundboard isn't working right now because you'd be getting a couple. You'd get a couple slaps there or two.
But we have to make it American, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kiss me.
Wait a second. What about the I can't stand this mic.
That's Satan. Okay.
Yo.
We're
Check.
having a good time talking about our lovely country. See? I told you he won't come in. That's that Marxism. That's that socialism.
Yeah.
They
No,
want to
yeah.
control our speech.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Let's see what they saying.
He will punish everybody that didn't vote for him. Let me tell y'all how I know this. I know it because I know what mental illness looks like.
We need to remind people the threat that Donald Trump poses.
Yeah. You're embodying it right now. She's embodying it right now.
She is mental.
Yes, we know what mental illness look like too, lady. It's not that hard to spot these days.
He's a dude. We're all
Damn it, man. I don't know what's going on with my mic tonight, but it's like pissing me off. Okay, here we go. I think we're good. Okay, here we go.
Not just for 4 years, but for generations. Supreme Court is at risk.
Come on.
Can't have him. He's dangerous.
Why don't we have any idea who his
Oh, damn. Okay, I guess
we can play the sound, Neil. Let's not play the video. Out of respect for the president, out of respect for little children, let's not play the video.
It blacked out anyway, so I can't even play it.
That was God here. That was because my soul just doesn't want to see that again. It hurts me to see people disrespect my country like that. Like, I understand, things are not perfect. You have to understand we live in an imperfect world where nothing will ever be perfect. But when we have the closest portion of paradise here to us available, You know what I'm saying? We live in a place where we can travel to see other countries. If we don't like the place that we're living in, we could go move somewhere else. There's a lot of places where, you'll become a citizen, or you are born a citizen and you will never become a citizen of anywhere else, because it's not written in the stars for you to do that. So we have to really appreciate where we are and understand that people are flocking from even these beautiful countries that we think are just are just drama-less. You know what I mean? They are flocking here to America. So we need to take what we have and create and make it beautiful. And even though it has its blemishes, it's not that far gone. You know what I'm saying? It just needs to be refurbished, if you will. But if we take that time and do that, and invest in our own communities, and our own people, and our own country, and our own states, and our own cities.
Well, Sandy, before we can make America great again, people actually have to believe in what they're fighting for. You can't there can't just be these empty platitudes, and this is no slight to you, but just people are calling themselves Christians, conservatives, and whatnot, what have you, when they don't, fundamentally to their core, they don't even know what they represent. Like this is a.
But can I say we can take the time to pinpoint, a lot of different things. I'm a married woman, and I can say, you know what? Why am I married? Men cheat on women all the time. Look at this lady. Look at my neighbor. Look at this person that I know. They were cheating on. He's cheating on his wife. But no, I said, you know what? This is my relationship. This is my man. Oh my gosh. This is my individual relationship with God. And if I want to cultivate it and make it different, then I have to focus on it and not everyone else.
Yeah.
So we can blame everybody else. There's a variety of individuals, but there are a lot of people who are like-minded and think like us, Neil, who are willing to stand on true conservative values and principles, who are willing to actually vote the right way, who are willing to be, in association with people who are going to make us better and not worse. So I understand what you're saying, but when it boils down to it, no, I don't, because we have that right here in America. People, look at you, look at me. You think we're the only two black people, period, in America who are standing up? No. And even more so, the more that they do this, all they are doing is driving people to what's right. What now is happening is a great divide. We have the Great Awakening. Now we have the Great Divide. Okay, remember? I
think it's necessary. I think it's necessary that there is a division.
Absolutely. It said the road will be narrow. We have the wide road where everybody going. And then we have the narrow road where it takes sacrifice, where it takes patience, where it takes long suffering. And not everybody's going to go down that road. And that's why it's so narrow. But it's a great... Everybody don't want to be patient, long suffering, understanding, kind, and filled with love. The Bible said God is love. Wherever there is no love, there is no God.
Hold up real quick. God is also, hold up.
Right.
Hold up. No, that's what I'm about to say. One second. While I grab this, Mr. So-and-so says, the question I ask is, what did she do to put those thoughts in his head to cheat in the first place?
Listen, I'm sorry. I have a dad. My dad's been married over 5 times, and I've seen a lot with that. And so I can tell you from my heart that sometimes a woman doesn't have to do anything. She could be the most loving, the most, when I say like men like a variety of women and personality types, just think about dating. When you date, you dated different persons. You dated this body type, this personality type, and you found that you don't mind this body, this personality type, but you fell in love with this individual. And it's like, so, you know what I'm saying? It's discipline. That's what it boils down to, because to think that out of people been married 50 years, 40 years, that you don't become attracted to somebody else is a lie. But the fact that you have discipline, that's what it boils down to. Deaden your body. That's what the Bible says. So the Bible obviously acknowledges that we don't have discipline if we don't have virtue.
I think, and just to piggyback off of the earlier point, earlier remarks we were making about God. God is also a God of war. God is also a God of war.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? We are not to sit idly by while evil is enshrouding every aspect, permeating every part of our entire society. We cannot just sit idly by with our heads in the sand. God calls us to be his stewards, to be his bold Christian, to be his warriors. We have to be his warriors, and we have to confront this evil, combat it. These secularist, progressive, revisionist, revolutionary, postmodernists, whatever you want to call them. I know what to call them. They're really just Kenites, but whatever you want to call them.
David and Goliath. God was like, listen, you gonna slay him, you gonna bring him down, you gonna kill him, he's not gonna live no more. He was like, what, God?
Because David, but the important thing to know about that story and to know about any story in the Bible is that God was with them. So that's the problem. Christians today have become like immensely feckless in the face of evil. We have just
not all Christians. This is what I'm
of
saying.
course, not all. But the majority of our, like, think about this. If we were in a Christian society right now, governed by our ecclesiastical authority, governed by the body of Christ in this country, you think we would be having half of the crap going on right now that we see? If Christians stood up as men and women of character, would they have allowed themselves to be in this predicament that we find ourselves in today with everything that's going on? The infiltration of our schools, the infiltration of our church, the infiltration of our families. We would not have allowed that to happen. We would be bold, audacious, stern. Christ was when he confronted the Sadducees, the Pharisees. Christ was not a coward.
I have to be honest. The thing is that, ideally, if we lived in a world like that where Christians were true Christians and they actually lived on Bible principles, we wouldn't live in the world we live in today. We would be back in the Garden of Eden. But because we are where we are today, and until God comes or whatever is going to happen, that many different Christians have their own supposities of what happens in the conclusion of things. We have to understand that we have decisions. We have the right to choose between good and bad. And so when we as individuals constrict or constrain another individual from making those choices, we are actually stepping in the way of God himself, because he doesn't even take away a person's ability to choose. That's why I say, I have a lot of different thoughts as a conservative that I believe to be true and I believe to be right, but I can't force those thoughts on any other individual. So yes, in a perfect world, we have a country filled full of Christians, and then what would happen? We wouldn't be having this discussion.
But Sandy, doesn't it always inevitably come down to force? Like, inevitably, doesn't it always come down to force? Like, they forced the vaccine. They're forcing conscription now by passing legislation and put people back into the draft. That's what I'm saying.
They force us. Yeah, you're right about that. They do.
These bastards are wielding the force, and what we are doing as Christians is playing nice. Oh well,
that's not their job. There's not their job. If they were doing the real thing, you're right. If they were doing what I said in the beginning, and you agree, is they were feeding, the homeless. They were taking care of the community and different things like that. They would not even have the opportunity to be involved in these different things that their taxonomy does not classify them the ability to be doing, and no one is holding them accountable. But meanwhile, we are holding small businesses accountable for different, tax infractions and different things like that. This person is accountable, but we are not holding the organizations who are not taking care of the communities. And as a result, these communities are needing what? More help from Fed, more help from state. You're right about that, Neil. 100% right.
And you know what I know?
Like that.
And you know what else I realized too is that true Christians know we don't look towards the man. Trump is just a man. He's my president. He's one of the best presidents I've ever had, but he's not a god. We don't deify Trump. Trump represents a symbol of a spirit of Western civilization. Yeah, okay, maybe not Christianity, we get it, but Western civilization is predicated on Judeo-Christian fundamental values. That's what Trump embodies. Once upon a time, it was our flag. We had many symbols. We don't have those symbols anymore. We are literally void of any sort of of uniting spirit, uniting force, any sort of unity.
Yep. The thing I love about being a Republican and fighting for Republican policies is, as a Republican, I don't believe in big government. So that means that, I believe in God. And even for persons who don't believe in God should believe that you have something called a natural right to certain things. You were naturally born, so you should naturally have the ability to just do certain things and live, accordingly. Like freedom of speech, you were born with the right to speak, with a voice. So you should be able to use that voice. Certain things, you're inalienable rights. But when we throw government in there, we throw people in there who are constantly trying to dictate, trying to control, trying to govern how we are. When we have
bureaucracy.
When we have a natural being about ourselves, that becomes an issue. So I definitely think that we do need to control the fact that people are trying to take that away and minimize it. We have to say, listen, no, you're wanting to put too many constraints on us. You're wanting to put us in a box. You're wanting us to basically be little AI robots, and we're not. We're human beings. We're individuals. We need breaks. We need time off. We don't need to slave just to survive.
God said this is the spiritual warfare. We are in spiritual warfare, and we battle not against our flesh, but spirits in high places and principalities. These are principalities we are up against right now. And I'm telling you right now, it's going to be more than just, calling yourself something that you don't really believe in, you're not rooted in, you don't have any vigor for. Oh yeah, I want to read this real quick. Mr. So-and-so
I was
said,
just reading that. I'm like, what?
He said, true Christians are far and few in between. 95% today call themselves Christians. Are Chinos. Is that Chinos? Chinos? Yeah. Chinos, excuse me. Christians in name only syndrome. Mr. So-and-so is always coming with the haymakers. Anyway, that's why, because I took a long time ago in my college days, randomly I just decided to take Greek civilization as well as Roman civilization, and I found it very interesting. It was random. I was like, man, let me take the second level to this class because I like it. But what I find interesting is a parallel that to the fall of the fall of Rome to what we see happening today. People are losing their vigor. They're losing their patriotism because the same thing that happened to Rome. These people that infiltrated the country, they didn't believe in the symbols of the patriot.
But listen, what happened is how you disrupt the country is by getting the members, the residents, the citizens to lose faith in the country.
There you go.
That's the number one step. If you go back through history for every empire that has ever fallen, what did they first do? They got the people to lose interest or to lose faith in their country, in their leadership,
There you go.
Which would be not just the president, that would be the whole system. That would be the system, the Congress, all these people, because you have to remember the president, he could do a lot. Yeah, but at the end of the day, the president works with a team. He has a team of individuals who are bringing before him different things to sign, different things to usher in the law. He could do things on his own, but that rarely happens. So, it's Congress really that has been for decades, for centuries, for eons, since the beginning of the time, really running things. That's where that check and balance comes from. That's why I said that's not a way for our president to be that dictator, because we have what? We have Republicans, we have Democrats, all these individuals, different ideas, conservative, liberal, whatever, sitting behind these parties, and those parties are what's pushing our country forward. So,
So I'm not trying to push forth a conspiracy theory, but this is what I heard. Well, this is not what I heard, but this has been confirmed in the media purportedly that Biden was on a phone call with someone. I think he was, I don't know, some executive head or something, and he had said a few days earlier, it's time to put Trump in a bullseye. Now, look, we can chalk that up to just incendiary rhetoric, as both sides have both engaged in, we know. Or that could be, again, that could be the same sort of well, I don't want to get banned on here, so I don't want to get too much. I don't want to get too much into that. So, yeah, but you guys catch my drift. Go look into it yourself. You know, there are reports being they're being promulgated out there right now. You can see it on certain independent, objective news media outlets. I'm sure CNN, MSNBC. They're not going to push that. They're not going to show anything like that. But yeah, like Sandy said, if you don't believe in it, if you don't believe in, stand for something, you fall for anything. If you don't believe in anything, you will fall for everything. So it's a tragic misfortune that happened to our president, but I think Trump is going to do a full recovery. He is I read another quote today. It said, you can't kill a moose with a bullet. With one bullet. You can't kill a moose with one bullet. So it's going to take more than a botched, failed assassination attempt to take Trump out. And you know what? he has the temerity. He's actually going to continue to rally. So I mean, what's that said about the guy? The guy has fight in him. He has fight. And you know, I'm proud to say that this guy is my president. You know.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, Sandy. Where's your visual? Your video? You took it off?
Yeah, I had taken it off just for a second because the lighting was just so horrible, Neil. I'm trying to say, and it was distracting me. So I said, I don't want to distract anybody while he's talking about it. But yeah, you're right about that, 100%.
You're fine.
What I believe is happening here that we have is in our country, we got to take things more seriously. You know what I'm saying? And pointing the finger at individuals because this group of people or this, I don't want to do that anymore. What I want to do is I want to start thinking about the like-minded people. I want to say, listen, it's a lot of people who don't think like this, a lot of people who don't do this, but it's a lot of people who do. It's a lot of people who feel and agree with what I have to say and with what you have to say, Neil. And so we're going to take that rhetoric and we're going to run with that rhetoric. And we're going to use those individuals to continue to push us forward, period.
Yeah, amen. That's
push
the truth.
This message because, like you said, we have a message. It's a strong message, and that message is one of, vote Republican this November 5th. Like I just told you guys, I appreciate all the votes, and so do my constituents, and that's what we're going to keep pushing for. What happened to Trump? It was unfortunate. Yeah. It should have never happened. And in a perfect world, it would have never happened. And
they're coming at him hard.
And in a world where Detail and the individuals around him were all on the up and up and not rhinos, and not even just rhinos, because we like to think that everybody's a rhino who is Republican and didn't stand up for this. A Republican in name only, when we're talking about voting power and things like that, a lot of individuals have never voted. A lot of individuals have not ever voted. You know what I'm saying? They don't vote because they don't want to have to vote for Republican policy.
Mr. So-and-so said, why do I feel like I'm the only one alive in the chat? No, maybe you are, man.
Yeah, maybe you don't. No, that's not it. That's not it. People are alive in that chat. They listen, but sometimes people like to sink in on information.
Ninja watching. That's what they call it. Lurking.
Not just ninja watching. I watch stuff all the time and I don't say stuff because I'm formulating my own opinion. I may not have enough research. I might feel what you're saying and I agree with it, but I might need to go back and do my own research before I could truly voice an opinion or say something educational about it. So that's probably what it is.
Yeah, true. Marlene said, if Christians would follow and practice the commandments, ordinances, and the instructions of the word of God to its fullest, then we would not be in the position in which we are today. Yeah, well, you know what? Like I said, I think the best way we're going to at least shift this in the right direction is it's going to be a move back towards the patriarchy. People need to start embracing it.
I think if every religion individuals have their own religions and they all think that they got it right. And most of the religions are to be better individuals. I think if every person from where they are just decided that I can be a better individual, even if you are not a religious individual and you said today, I want to start just being a better person, because that's what we need. We need to meet people where they at these days. You understand? If you could just all just say, you know what, listen, you know, your religion, come as you are. Like God said, come as you are. You know what I mean? I accept you as who you are, but let's just do something different. Let's just try to be better people. Let's just try a little bit of love in our heart, you know?
And sin no more.
And maybe do that, but, you know, let's do that.
Barlene says, Neil, the problem is that Christians are not following the word of God to the fullest, all of his commandments, ordinances. Oh, gosh, I can't read that word, Marlene. Yes, I believe you. I absolutely believe you. But you got to realize we have a lot more. We have a growing population of seculars, atheists, people who absolutely reject the idea of God or there being a creator. So how do we appeal to them? I think my personal opinion is that we can appeal to them by bringing back the patriarchy.
And what we got to remember is this has been an ongoing fight, though. What we're saying, we got to bring back. Never in a time, Neil, have you, me, or the individual on this phone lived in a time where people were just perfect, or lived in a time where we've not been fighting to get everybody to universally agree with us and agree with God. That's not been a time that we've seen in our lifetime ever. And even our parents, and before them, our grandparents and our great parents, we've been fighting. And the further that we grow from that perfection that was outlined in the Bible, the deeper that we are until what's promised in the Bible comes true. So we've got to realize that the further that we come from our perfection, the harder and more difficult things will be and times will be. But we understand the Bible outlaid it to us that things are going to get worse. This is going to get worse than this. It will be worse than this. And the Bible tells you that. So for all of us who's thinking that, you know, we're all working together, coming together is going to make things great. Yeah, it will. But that's not going to happen. That's not what's going to happen. The Bible said that.
And you know what, Sandy? I don't think this is going to be the first or the last attempt.
No.
I don't. I hate to say that, folks, but, you know, Trump has managed to prevail. And through everything that they threw at him, they are still trying to bring this man down with everything, but the kitchen sink.
It's not just that. It's not just him either. It's been Republicans being attacked. You know, my chairman just got into a car accident, and, you know, by grace of God, I'm hoping it was just a drunk driver, but we don't really know. You know, it's a lot of, and he was a chairman, but now he's having to step down because things are so bad. We don't know. The thing is that we got to stay prayed up. For the ones who do believe in God, we got to stay prayed up. We got to understand that even though we want to live in a perfect world right now, that's not what we have. We are met with adversaries, and our adversaries, the devil, coming upon us, seeking to devour us. That's what the Bible says.
There you go. And
so
he's going to attack. And I'm telling, it's in the last days, the enemy will attack as a scorpion as a scorpion attacks his prey. A scorpion ingests poison in its prey and suck out all the life of its prey. Mm-hmm. What do you think is happening right now? They're injecting poison into you via propaganda and sucking all of the life out of you. That's why a lot of men today, particularly men, lack a spine. They lack boldness. They lack vigor. They lack, I can go on, you know, but anyways, I don't want to be prattling here. Sandy, I'm gonna let you have the last thoughts, and we're gonna shut this out.
Okay, my last thoughts are: don't forget to vote Republican this November 5th. Also, guys, pray for our country, pray for our president. Not that one, the right one, 47. Pray for our president, Donald Trump. Pray for each other, guys. It's a time to love. I understand everybody is not going to show you love, but if you have the mental capacity and the ability to love, do that, because the Bible says that God is love. So love each other, continue to pray for one another, not on one another, and continue to put God first. And those values, those virtues, of selflessness and humility will ultimately cause us to get along and agree with one another and help us, you know, as a community together as one. But don't forget to vote Republican November 5th.
Don't forget to vote. Do not forget to vote. We need your vote more than ever, especially at this in these dark times that we're living in right now. So, Sandy, it is always a pleasure to have you on.
And you know I'm gonna come on, light or no light.
Sandy is not playing around. Okay, when she comes to bring the heat, she brings the heat. All right. So this was totally out of the blue, sporadic, just spontaneous. I said, yo, Sandy, what's up? You trying to jump on? She said, yeah, I'm on. I'm down. I was like, all right, let's do this. Anyways, everyone, I appreciate y'all for being here, watching. Pray for Trump. I'm sure he's going to come out. He's going to come out stronger than ever before. Hey, you know what? This may have a positive, you know, there may be a positive to this, you know, this might just get them all across the finish line, you know, because people are waking up to seeing what's actually happening. And this is not, this is not something you can just turn a blind eye to. I mean, it's obvious now. I mean, they're explicitly telling you that we will stifle your freedoms. We will take your life from you. These people are not to be negotiated with. Take care, Neil. Be safe in this chaotic world ran by evil one. Yeah, I know. But you know what? God prevails. The only reason why there is an evil one is because God says so. Was she in the car and lit up by the door? I don't know. So I don't know, Mrs. Sosa.
I'm here. You're right. I'm listening.
I don't know. Mrs. Sosa asking, was she in the car and lit up by the dome light? Yeah, I guess.
Right.
Marlene
exactly
says. Marlene says, Neil, the problem is that Christians are not following. Yeah, Marlene, golly, you said it like 3 times. You right though. You hit the nail on the target. So I appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching. You know, my loyal listeners. I appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good night. Hey, Sandy, hold off for a second before you dip out.
You know I'm not going anywhere.
All right, y'all take care. Let me get my little thing.